Welcome to the Painted Toad. Here's part 2 of the Bohemian Birdhouse. Hi, it's Rose from the Painted Toad, and I teach people how to take time out of their busy lives to make time for creating and make time for themselves. This is the second part of the Bohemian Birdhouse painting. If you missed part 1, make sure you go and check my YouTube page and watch that first. Let's go ahead and get painting. Okay. Up here, I wanted to do a bit of a different pattern. I'm going to try some white. Let's see. Make like a diamond pattern. There. What do you think of that? I like it. Okay, so I was going to add a little something in the middle of those. And I'm almost going to have to leave in just a second. I got to teach at 7, so we got about 5 minutes left. So I'm going to come in here. Let's add another little, just going to add another little hole up here. And then another one down here. The brush is being kind of annoying. It's not going where I want it to go. Behave yourself, brush. And then to break up the background, I'm going to just paint this on here real quick. We need something going on in the background here. So I'm going to paint some big leaves with my bright green. Just using a flat brush here. Just kind of put them in different places. Like we got a lot of blue here, so I want to break up the blue. So I'm going to just break it up with some of this bright green. Have some green leaves. How about we do one right here? I think this looks lovely. If I were a bird, I'd want to live here. Now to add some details to the house, taking some green on a thinner flat brush, and I'm going to fill out the roof. Do a nice green roof on this house. And I may need to do a couple layers of this green because some of that you can see there, the little chimney pipe is showing through, but that's okay. If you don't like that, you can always take white first and mask the roof and then go over it with the green again later. But this was kind of a decision I have made as I'm creating here. And you know, when you're painting, you come up with those creative decisions to change it and make it a little different. That's okay. Now I'm going to add a little bit of dark green to my palette. This is called phthalocyanine green. It's kind of a big scary name, but don't be afraid of the name. It's just spelled really weird. Phthalo and then Cyane. Sound like a infomercial. But it's a darker green and it's got a real strong hint of blue to it. So that's why I'm choosing to do this color. And then I'm going to get a little bit of my teal and I'm going to mix these two together to get kind of a tropical green, if you think of it that way. So we're kind of going for a tropical color because I want to add some finer details to these leaves that I have painted on here. Just going to take my palette knife and pull some of that together and stir it up. You can use a smaller flat brush or a round brush to do these details. And I'm just going to take my brush and create some dark green edges, maybe some different patterns here. You can really do whatever you want with your leaf patterns. You could even make some old dark green and then keep a few light green. So you can't really mess this up. Just have fun with it. For variety, I'm going to take and do a little bit something different on this one. I'm going to do along the edges. And then I'm going to bring that up. So this one is half light green and then it's got maybe a dark green section on the bottom where it's a little more shadowed or maybe the leaf is turned. I'm going to go ahead and speed this up, but basically you're just going in and adding different details on your leaves with the darker green you've created. Now that my leaves are painted, I am going to do something interesting with my background. So I feel like the blue is a bit flat and boring, and I'm getting a piece of cardstock, or you could use a note card. You want something a little bit thicker. A piece of regular paper will get kind of mushy with what we're going to do. So something a little heavier like a note card or a piece of cardstock, or even a thin piece of cardboard might work for this. And I'm just going to cut a small piece of it with my scissors. See, I have a sketch on there from a different class. And then I'm going to take this and I'm going to roll it. And one great way to do that is I'm using the end of a paintbrush to kind of roll it around the end of the paintbrush. So I've got a spiral now. And I'm pinching it here just to get a nice tight spiral so it doesn't spring too big on me. I don't want it to spring open and be too large. And then I'm going to take my scissors here and trim off the excess. I don't need the whole length of that. So I'm going to trim it off so I just have the spiral left. Now here's the fun part. So we're going to take that little spiral and we're going to dip it in some paint. And see it right there? So I'm going to dip this in some paint. I think I will do my light green. Just dip it in there. And then I've got some paint on the edge. I'm just going to use it like a stamp. So stamp it right on there. And here's the thing I don't want you to worry about. Don't worry about if it doesn't make the perfect spiral. Like if you give little parts of it that don't totally get on there, that's fine. We're just adding some texture in the background. You know, turn it, spin it, get it to go different ways. I'm using the light green. You could brighten this up and use a totally different color. You could use white if you really wanted it to stand out, or you could even do that dark green. You could do a lighter blue. You could try yellow, but yellow probably would be a bit transparent on this blue background. So, but you know, you can always try it and see if you like it. Now I'm taking my small flat brush again. I'm going to add an extra layer of the green over what I already have. And as mentioned before, if it's not hiding the things that you want to hide or cover, use a little bit of white paint first and then go back and add your layers for your roof. Now I'm going to use some white paint and a small liner brush just to do some more finer details. The little yellow orange, I guess, jewels that are dangling from my house, they get a bit lost because they're so close in color to the red orange of the birdhouse. So I'm just going to take a little white on a liner brush and create a little curve there around each of these just to help them pop out and come out of the background a bit. So this is, you know, adding those little extra details is going to make your painting look more finished. Of course, it's always optional. I'm also adding a small white highlight on the little lights hanging here on the porch. Just gives it a little sparkle and shine. Finally, I'm taking my liner brush, dipping it in some black, and I'm going to re-outline a few of these areas where I painted over the edges. This is something you could do with a paint pen if you're not comfortable using a brush yet for outlining. If you're doing a small 5x7 like this one, you could also use, when this is completely dry, you could use an ultrafine black Sharpie to outline. If you're doing this on a larger canvas, I would definitely recommend paint. For the practice, I don't mind the outlining with the Sharpie, but for something I want to keep or give away or sell, I always use actual paint. And I'm going to speed this up. This is all outlining edges and things like that to accentuate my lines. The only thing I think that this painting needs is those leaves to stand out a little bit from the background. So instead of outlining in black, this time I'm going to use my liner brush and I'm going to do a real thin outline in white. I think it will really make these leaves pop a little bit and add to the overall look of the painting. Almost done. Just a couple more lines and our painting will be all finished. One more right here. So, Rose from the Painted Toad, reminding you to be creative, be artistic, and get connected. See you later. Make sure you like and subscribe to our YouTube page. You can also find us on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, and at our website, www.paintedtoad.com.